Hi, Master. It's been 2 years since Putin invaded Ukraine. So, can you predict when Putin will withdraw his army from Ukraine?
Greetings, my friend. It is indeed a difficult and complex situation that has caused much suffering. As a Buddhist monk, I am committed to promoting peace, understanding, and compassion. While I cannot predict specific future events, I can offer some insights. The resolution of conflicts requires the collective efforts of individuals, nations, and international organizations. It is essential to engage in dialogue, negotiation, and diplomacy to find peaceful solutions.
No, it doesn't
Patience,
work.
perseverance.
Yeah, I see your compassion theory, but diplomacy doesn't work. I think they already have millions of rounds of negotiations already in between, but nothing worked out so far.
I understand your frustration, my friend. It is true that conflicts can be complex and challenging to resolve. Sometimes, negotiations and diplomacy take time and multiple attempts before progress can be made. It is disheartening when these efforts do not yield immediate results. However, as a Buddhist monk, I firmly believe in the power of compassion, understanding, and nonviolence. While it may seem like diplomacy has failed in the past, it is important to remember that every effort towards peace counts. Each negotiation, each dialogue, and each act of compassion brings us closer to a resolution. In situations like these, it is important to continue supporting peaceful initiatives and encouraging dialogue. It may require the involvement of multiple parties, international organizations, and sustained efforts over time. Change can be gradual, but it is
Okay,
possible.
compassion,
Let us
compassion, compassion. It's always about compassion. It doesn't work. It doesn't work during a war. Neither side of the both country showed any compassion toward the other side. There were only cruelty and brutality, and people were suffering, and they are still suffering now. Countless casualties are made during the war, and it's not like a two-sided war between two equal countries. It's like a one-sided war. Russia launched a war from their end. They started war in the first place. That's it. Compassion doesn't work here, Master.
I understand your frustration and the pain caused by war. It is true that in times of conflict, compassion can seem difficult to practice and may not immediately resolve the situation. War brings immense suffering, and it is a tragic reality that innocent lives are lost and communities are torn apart. However, as a Buddhist monk, I still firmly believe in the power of compassion, even in the face of such atrocities. Compassion does not mean condoning or accepting violence. It means recognizing the suffering of all beings involved and working towards alleviating that suffering. While it may not be easy, compassion can be a guiding principle in seeking solutions to conflicts. It can inspire us to advocate for peaceful resolutions, support humanitarian efforts, and work towards reconciliation. It can also help us to extend empathy and understanding to all parties involved, fostering an environment where dialogue and negotiation can take place. It is important to remember that compassion is not a passive stance. It requires action both on an individual and collective level. It may take time, but by promoting understanding, empathy, and nonviolence, we can contribute to the healing and reconciliation process. Let us continue to hold compassion in our hearts and work towards a world where conflicts are resolved peacefully and all
I don't.
beings can live in
Yeah,
harmony.
I see. It's not a static stance. It's a dynamic process. But they are already being negotiating many rounds. It's not working. And most importantly, Russia is never willing to withdraw its army out of Ukraine border. And compassion, understanding, negotiation all failed. Doesn't work here. None of them work here. That's it.
I understand your frustration and the challenges that have arisen in the negotiations. It is disheartening when efforts towards peace and understanding do not yield the desired results. The situation in Ukraine is indeed complex and deeply rooted in historical, political, and geopolitical factors. While it may seem that compassion, understanding, and negotiation have failed, it is important to remember that these efforts are ongoing and can take time. Sometimes, progress is not immediately visible, and it requires sustained commitment and perseverance. In
It,
situations like these,
it takes too long time already. It's 2 years now. People are suffering, and there are casualties continuously happening every single day. So you said compassion takes time, but how long time? How much further? That's it.
I apologize if my previous responses have not adequately addressed your concerns. I understand your urgency and the suffering that people are experiencing in Ukraine. It is heartbreaking to witness the ongoing casualties and destruction. Compassion is not bound by time frames or limitations. It is a guiding principle that should be present in every moment, in every action we take. However, it is important to acknowledge that resolving conflicts and ending suffering is a complex process that involves various factors beyond our control. While compassion alone may not be sufficient to immediately end the conflict, it can inspire us to take action, support humanitarian efforts, and advocate for peaceful resolutions. It can also help us to maintain empathy and understanding towards all parties involved, even in the midst of difficult circumstances. In situations like these, it is crucial for the international community to come together, exert diplomatic pressure, and explore all possible avenues for peace. It is
Yeah,
also important for individuals to
I see your point. International community. So this compassion has different layers, different levels, right? It's not just about compassion from Ukrainian local people or from Russian too. It's also about compassion from other international organizations, other countries, other participants, blah blah blah. Yeah, I see your point now. But I really doubt about it. It still take very long time ahead, and it still has great uncertainty ahead. But so far so good, Master. Thank you so much. I know it takes time. I'll be patient, and everyone has to be patient on this thing because it's a war. But let's send our best wishes to Ukraine. Thank you, Master.